Hello, Steve Mills here. Today I want to talk to you about what I believe is one of the biggest problems that small businesses are facing right now in 2025. It's the problem that they've been facing, to be honest, for a long, long time. And I can recall over the last 30 years many, many times when people have said to me something like, well, we're really good at what we do, Steve, but the truth is nobody's ever heard of us. And that for me it's almost like a sin, you know? It's a really, really bad thing. Being good at what you do and not being able to help people, advise people, carry out a high level of service, allowing others who are maybe not as good as you to get all the money. You know, we've got to become really good at what we do and also really good at marketing what we do, selling what we do, managing the finances and the money and the HR in what we do, right? So, you know, if we're going to do this, the answer is this. If you want a better business, you've got to become a better business owner. And that is so incredibly true, I believe. Now, today, I want to talk about one particular area, and that is this concept of obscurity, of being really good at what we do, but no one's ever heard of us. Because right now, do you know what? That is costing you an absolute fortune. It's costing you a fortune every day that you're not on LinkedIn. Every day that you're not winning business on LinkedIn, every day that you're not on YouTube, every day that you're not being found on Google, and that people are searching for what you do and finding your competitors, it is costing you money. And I'm here to just give you some thoughts as to what you need to do in order to overcome that. So, let's think about it. Well, we've got a load of people that we're connected to in our world. I'll use LinkedIn as an example because it's a good way of looking at it. Let's say, for example, my target market was hotel owners in Hampshire. Let's just say that. That's not the case, but let's just say it. So if that was the case, then in an ideal world, I would have a mechanism, I'd have something in place to be able to communicate with my market in various places. So, for example, I might be connected to them all on LinkedIn. I might have an email database with every hotel owner and hotel manager in Hampshire within that database. I might be doing paid advertising on something like LinkedIn where I'm advertising to all these people. So I'm saying to LinkedIn, show this advert to people who are hotel owners and hotel managers who are based in Hampshire, right? So that's the ideal world. But if you look at it from a point of view of your world, you know, where are you? You know, if you're, I don't know, you're a business and you've got, I don't know, let's say 1,000 people that you're connected to within Hampshire, and yet there are 5,000 hotels, there are owners and there are managers. And so in total, there could be 15,000 people, and you're able to market to 1,000 of them on LinkedIn. Perhaps you've got an email database and you're using that, but you've only got 2,000 on that. We're still lacking. You see, you're still suffering from obscurity. Now, you could be doing the paid advertising and advertising to everybody. But the chances are you're thinking, oh, well, paid advertising on LinkedIn, that's going to be expensive. I'm not sure I can afford to do that. The truth of the matter is, if it works, you can't afford not to do it. And so, what we've got to really focus on, and what I want to talk about today, is how you're going to do that. So, the first thing I think you need to think about, And if you're looking at me looking down and thinking, what am I doing? I'm just looking at my notes. Okay, I've got down here to talk for a minute or two about your USP. You've heard of that before, no doubt, the unique selling proposition. And it's really, I think it's the first impression of you. You know, it's your unique. Why Steve and not somebody else? What's different about Steve? And I need to be able to articulate that very simply, very quickly, and get people to understand why I'm different to other people. Because if everything's the same, then it's like either, well, I'll pick this one, or it's I'll go for the cheapest one, or I'll go for one somewhere in the middle. No, that's not good enough. We've got to be really good at defining our unique selling proposition, and so that was number one. Number two was build an online presence. And I think, again, you know, I look at social media. That is a great opportunity. And I see people all the time say, well, you know, I post on there once a fortnight on LinkedIn and Facebook. I'm not on X or Twitter as it used to be called. And no, you know, TikTok, no, I don't do that. Videos, I hate being on videos, so I'm not on videos. Instagram, oh, no, not really. No, I've not done that either. You know, again, can you see the problem with this? I hope I'm getting through to you because, you know, this is costing you money every single day. What about SEO, search engine optimization? You go, well, I don't even know what is that? How do I do that? I've got no idea. Right? There's no excuse for that in this modern world. You know, you can join my Results Mastery University and find out about that. You can go and read a book on it. You know, you can go and learn the basics of search engine optimization to a level where you can do it yourself, or you can outsource it to somebody. There are a million people out there who will help you with SEO. So, you know, go and talk to one of them or talk to us if you would like to. So that's really key. Um, Content marketing, you know, that's another real big one. You know, how often do you keep in touch with people? I often use a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek story when I'm talking to people about keeping in touch. And can you imagine if I met someone, if I was a single man and I met perhaps a young lady, and we went out for a nice meal? And I got on great with her. She really liked me. I really liked her. And we decided that we would like to see each other again. So I said, fantastic. I really love to see you again. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send you an email in about 3 months' time. How's that? You know, that would be ludicrous, wouldn't it? It would be crackers. You know, it would never maintain that relationship. You know, need to see this person more often than that. And yet in business, we behave like that all the time. You know, we send out a quarterly newsletter. Our communication is not good enough. We don't email enough. We don't post enough. We don't newsletter enough. We don't call enough. We don't meet enough. We just need to do more of it if we want to grow our business. Um, I got down here to build authority through public speaking, you know, and it really is very, very powerful. In a couple of days, I'm speaking at the Winchester Business Expo, and the exhibition have been promoting my talk and the exhibition for months. There's probably going to be 500 to 1,000 people there, and I get to speak in front of them. You know, how incredibly powerful is that? It's great from a point of view of, you know, instead of talking on a one-to-one basis, I can talk from one to many. But it's also really valuable from a point of view of the credibility that I get, because I'm introduced as a speaker, as an expert in what I do, And that's really powerful in terms of growing your business. So, think about that. And, if you've got skills in that area, then go ahead and do it. And if you haven't, go and learn how to do that. Next, we've got networking. A lot of people actually do quite a bit of networking, but often they're not quite as good as they could be, and they don't win business from it. And I hear a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, networking, that's the way to go forward. Networking's brilliant. We win all our business from networking. And what that sometimes does is it limits them. If they are good at it, they think, oh, well, all I'm going to do is go to whatever it is networking event, eat lots of breakfast and, make friends with people, and maybe I'm going to win some business. So for me, we've got to do it professionally. Let me give you an example. It's absolutely true. I've been doing networking for 30 years. 30 years of networking. I've not done that much recently, to be honest. I just find it, I don't know, difficult. I don't know, getting a little bit old, a bit cynical in my old age. I don't know. But anyway, I've not been doing quite so much. But when you go networking, often you speak to people and perhaps you exchange business cards. Although the last networking event I went to, nobody got a business card, which I just blows my mind. Um, but you go there and you have a conversation, you exchange details so you can communicate with each other. And then at the end of the meeting, everybody goes home. What happens then? Well, the answer is not a lot. We don't follow up. Have a guess how many times I've been followed up in those 30 years in round figures. Zero. Not one. Not one call. I must have met thousands of people and not one of them have called me. I've called them and I've won business from it, but not one of them's ever called me. And that just absolutely blows my mind. Why do you go if you're not going to follow up? So that, again, is really, really important. So, there are many examples out there of businesses that have done this really well and businesses that have done this really badly. The one thing I can tell you is that the more people you talk to, whether that's talking via an email, a social media post, a web page, a blog post, a webinar, a podcast, in person, on the phone, and so on and so forth. The more people you talk to, the more money will end up in your bank account. Okay? The more people you talk to, the more money will end up in your bank account. It's almost a guaranteed fact. So, what do you got to do? You've got to overcome the biggest problem that 99% of small businesses are facing right now, and that is obscurity. And you've got to do that by getting your message out there to the masses. And you've got to do that consistently, and we've got to do it well. If you're Vodafone or Nike or Apple, you don't have a problem with obscurity. You're known by whatever it is, 2/3 of the planet. But if we're in a small business rather, we're not, and we've got to overcome that to the best of our ability. So that's about it. That's all I wanted to say. Hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it's given you food for thought. And really, what I really hope is that you'll take action as a result. What I'd love you to do, if you would, is to comment below this blog. It's going to be a video and a blog. So either on the video, comment on that, or comment on the blog on my website, whichever you're on. I'd love to get some feedback. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my podcast, and connect to me on LinkedIn, perhaps. So thank you ever so much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you in the very near future. If you want to meet me, feel free to go to my website. You can see that on my wall behind me. and click on one of the big gold buttons and get yourself booked in for an online meeting. Thanks very much for listening, and speak again soon.